are with our two students to discuss part 1 speaking questions that are expected in August 2023. So let's start. Where is your favorite place to sit?
Being a student, study table is my favorite place to sit, where I used to study in my exams as well as in the regular days.
Where I usually study, okay? Have you always sat for a long time?
Yes, while studying for my exam, I have sat for hours. Also, it sometimes bored me.
Do you feel sleepy while sitting?
Yes, of course, I feel sleepy while sitting whenever I prefer going on outings. In traveling, I also feel sleepy.
You can say when I travel for hours, I feel sleepy. Not that when you go for outing, you feel sleepy. So make sure your answers are proper. When you were a child, did you usually sit on floor?
Yes, of course, when I was a child, I used to play games with my siblings while sitting on the floor.
Let's talk about advertisements. What kinds of advertisements do you dislike?
And the advertisements that do not convey any message. Also, the advertisements of alcohol and tobacco that are the one I dislike the most.
Do you share advertisements with others?
Yes, of course, if I like some advertisements or there are different kinds of advertisements on clothes or shoes, I generally prefer sharing it to my relatives.
Shoes, okay. What kinds of advertisements do you watch?
Mostly, I prefer to watch the advertisements of branded clothes and sometimes the technological devices such as mobile phones that are newly launched.
Where you can see advertisements in your city?
There are a lot of places like we have online and offline places. There are a lot of social media sites where we can find different kinds of advertisements, whereas there are different banners and posters which are placed on the walls where we can find advertisements of different things.
Let's talk about technology. How has technology made our life easier?
Well, our whole life revolves around technology. Our any work is not completed without technology, such as computers, have become very common and essential part of our life.
Which invention do you find most useful in everyday life?
I think the invention of the mobile phones have made the life very easier. We can find a lot of things and it is very useful in our daily life.
Is it difficult for older people to understand new technologies?
Yes, sometimes it is very difficult to understand the new technology as the features are very complex and the older people do not have that sharp mind so that they can understand the features and technology.
What can be done to help the elderly learn to use new technologies?
The younger ones can help them to use the
Yes, even they can take classes as well. If they find it difficult to use the computers or any other technology, they can take classes as well. Okay? Would our lives be better if we lived without technology?
I think no, our lives could be really impossible if there would be no technology, as it has a great impact on our life and we can live a easy and comfortable life with it.
Okay, let's talk about collecting things. Are you interested in collecting things?
No, I have not. I am not interested in collecting things. But when I was child, I used to collect the stamps that are on the letters. I collected that.
Is there anything that you have from your childhood? Like she has the stamps. What about you?
Yes, I have different kinds of toys that my parents gifted me, and my mother has still kept it with me as my childhood memory.
Where do you usually keep the things you collect?
Well, I have kept those things in the locker of my Ilmeria. Whenever I find that I want to explore my memories, so I usually open that locker and explore through that.
Will you keep old things longer and why?
I think older things that we keep longer are the part which are very much close and memorable to us, and to maintain that memorable thing in our life, we used to keep and store it.
See, part 1 questions are related to you. My question was, will you keep old things longer? If yes, why? If no, why not? Why we keep things was not the question, guys. Why we keep things was not the question. Will you keep old things longer or no? If you say yes, I will, because I want to re-cherish my memories later. Otherwise, no, I don't believe in keeping old things. I think we should discard and use new things. So you can answer it properly. All right? Let's talk about feeling bored. How often do you feel bored?
Well, I do not easily get bored, but whenever I have to sit for hours, that makes me very bored.
That makes me feel bored.
Okay.
What are the things that make you bored?
I think whenever I start doing a thing in a continuous manner for the hours, it feels me bored. I really want some different things in the different passage of time.
It makes you. Okay? Feels me. What will you do when you feel bored?
Well, whenever I feel bored, I usually listen to music or start reading a book, which would help me in my future.
When you were young, what would you do if you were bored?
When I was bored, I used to talk with my friends, or I used to call my friends for playing some game like badminton.
Alright, let's talk about daily routine. What is your daily routine?
Well, I often get up early in the morning and then I brush my teeth and take a bath. Then I get ready for my classes and leave my home. Then I get back to my home at 3 p.m. After that, um, reading books is also part of my daily routine. Then I have a meal, and after that I go to sleep early.
Okay. Who helps you the most at studies?
I think my friends as well as my mother helps me most in my studies. Whenever I feel some difficulty, they are there to solve it.
What time do you go to bed?
Near to 11, I go to bed as my family, as that is the time when my family usually sleep.
Okay. How do you like to spend your weekends?
Well, on weekends, I prefer to spend quality time with my family as well as sometimes I prefer to go for outings with my friends.
Let's talk about evening activities. What activities do you usually do at night?
Well, at night, I prefer to read books as concentration level at that time is very um, is good. Also, I am able to
Yes, try to speak.
also I am able to read books at that time easily.
Yeah, simply you can say in at night I prefer to read. Being a student, that is a time when a person can concentrate. I'm not a morning person, so I prefer to read at night. You can add on it.
Okay.
Do you prefer studying in the evening or in the morning? Because some people like in the morning.
Yes, as I prefer reading and studying in morning only because at that time everything is silent and I prefer I have much concentration in the morning, so I believe in studying in morning.
Yeah. See guys, in IELTS there is no right and wrong opinion. You prefer studying at evening.
Yes.
She prefers at
Morning.
Morning.
morning. So it's fine. It's your choice.
Okay.
What time do you usually sleep?
I often sleep at 10 p.m. As I am not a night owl, so I have to wake up early. So I go to bed early.
See, now you have contradicted. In the previous question, you said you love to study at night, late night, and then you said you are not a night owl.
Okay.
So make sure you are not contradicting, otherwise, it won't affect the score, it's fine. But try to.
Okay.
Have you ever had difficulty falling asleep?
Yes, sometimes whenever I have stress, I feel very hard to sleep. So then I divert my mind by reading books or sometimes by playing game.
Alright, let's talk about watch. Do you usually wear a watch?
No, not on regular basis, but I wear watches whenever I go to some occasion or any institutions.
Do you ever get a watch as a gift?
Yes, once my friend gifted me a watch on my birthday as it was very special for me as she brought it from US.
Why do most people like to wear expensive watches?
Most people like to wear expensive watches because they have that craze and they love them, and they also want to go with their trend. And nowadays, these expensive things are also status symbol.
Do most people in your country wear watches?
Yes, mostly people wear watches, but it is hard to say that every person wear watches. It depends on the taste of people that they prefer wearing watch or not.
Let's talk about forests. Are there many forests in your country?
Yes, there are many forests in my country. Sundarban and Western Ghats are the most popular forests in my country.
What threats are posed by deforestation?
There are a lot of destructive effects caused by deforestation, like pollution is increasing day by day. Global warming is having a great impact on everyone, and also the level of oxygen is decreasing day by day.
Are there alternatives to cutting down forests?
Yes, there are many ways to stop deforestation, as we can prohibit migration. Also, we can grow as many trees we can to stop deforestation, which would.
Okay. What can the average citizen do to help deal with this situation?
Average citizen can plant more and more plants, and if they want to construct a house, they can construct a vertical house instead of horizontally, which can also
Save them.
save the space.
Okay. Is it common for people to move around a lot in your country?
Yes, in my country, traveling has become very common, and mostly people prefer to travel in Maldives and like on in Goa and many more places.
You should not be any area specific. You can say people love to
Travel.
travel not only in our country but outside the country as well.
Okay.
There are popular destinations like this. Then you can talk about more.
Okay.
Do most people in your country live in urban areas?
There is a balance between urban and rural areas. Nowadays, there is a trend of migration as people want better education facilities, health facilities. In this case, the rural citizens are coming towards the urban areas.
Why do some people choose to stay in one place for the rest of their lives?
Well, mostly people prefer to be at same place as they are comfortable. They are also they are able to get the basic necessities that are essential for our life.
Is it important to travel a lot?
I think it is very important to travel a lot and explore new places, and we also meet new people of new cultures, as it is also a part of life. And whenever we travel a lot, we add on to the chapters of our life.
Let's talk about friends, strangers. Do you like talking to strangers?
Yes, sometimes whenever I want help, so I prefer to ask from strangers. Um,
What was the last conversation you had with a stranger?
As I remember, I asked about a house of my friend from the stranger, and I was confused at that time, so I took the help of that person.
Do you discuss politics with your friends?
Yes, sometimes when the political circumstances are very they are on peak, then we used to discuss them whenever we are sitting in a group.
Usually.
Okay.
Are families in your country very talkative?
I think Punjabi families are almost very talkative as they have a very friendly and a funny taste in them, and they are very comfortable in talking.
That's an interesting question.
Yes.
Let's talk about street markets. Do you enjoy visiting street markets?
Yes, I enjoy visiting street markets as I am fond of eating different variety of food. So I keep exploring them.
When was the last time you were in a street market?
Well, on last Sunday, I visited Kila Mubarak to explore the charm of the most famous street food, Deepak Champ.
What kind of things do people enjoy or buy at the street market?
According to me, people mainly prefer the local food, and they also explore different kinds of clothes. Sometimes we also find the variety of clothes that are not available at urban complexes.
Are there numerous street markets in your city?
Yes, there are a number of street markets in my city, and they are popular as well.
Okay. Let's talk about time management. Do you think it's easy for you to manage your time?
Yes, sometimes it is easy to manage time, but whenever we have to do a difficult task or we are not aware of how to do it, the time is a great hustle to be managed.
How do you usually organize your time?
I usually make plans and set my daily routines according to that and then follow it.
What is the hardest part of planning for you?
I think whenever we get a circumstance unexpectedly, that feels us more.
No, that is unexpected circumstances is different. What is the hardest part of planning for you?
Well, hardest part of planning for me, whenever we have to go to a trip and we are not able to plan budget, and sometimes we are not able to decide which clothes we should wear. Similarly, this can be applicable when we are going on weddings and birthdays too.
You can talk about any kind of particular planning. Like
Okay.
you can say financial part is difficult to plan because we don't know
Yes.
on trip how much we are going to spend.
Spend.
Do you use any technology to help you manage your time?
Yes, of course, I use my mobile phone, and it is a daily routine part of my life. My day starts with it. I set up alarm for starting my routines.
Okay, let's talk about reading. Do you like reading books?
Yes, I love reading books. Mostly I prefer to read history books.
Are you reading a book presently?
Yes, I have started most famous book of Bhagat Singh, that I am often reading whenever I get a time, usually at night.
You often read, you usually read at
Nowadays.
night, okay?
Yes.
Do you want to write a book in the future?
If I got the chance, I would definitely write a book of my life experiences and the challenges I've faced in it.
Okay. All right, this is the end of this session. Thank you.